but not a home.
Yeah.
With money, you can buy a clock,
Yeah.
but not time.
Wow.
With money,
Wow.
you can buy a bed,
Yeah.
but not sleep.
Yeah.
With money, you can buy food, but not appetite. With money, you can buy a doctor, but not good health. With money, you can have insurance, but not safety. And this is the problem that we all have. There are things that you cannot buy with material wealth, with money.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Man Cave. We are Ryan and Corey. You listen to the Much About Nothing podcast, the show where we give expert takes and good-hearted debates. We talk ball and anything and everything else. And it is Monday, so we talking anything and everything else. Today we will be talking about how much money does happiness cost. If you are new to the pod, greetings. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, smash that bell. If you got something to say, put it into the comments. If you're already a part of the fam, welcome back. Please like, share, and comment. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Corey, let's get into it.
Yes. This is an interesting episode. I'm ready to get into this, man. Can money buy you happiness? That is the question that we're going to be challenging people with today. Please post your comments. Let us know what you think. We want to hear from you. And I'm pretty sure y'all got some interesting things, but let's dive into it. Hamp, start you off with the first question. It says, how much money is enough money?
Hmm. Okay, how much money is enough money? All right, so we can go with a research that was done about 10 years ago, and they came up with the number 75,000.
75,000.
Yeah. They said there's a sweet spot where emotional well being and personal life have hit its apex. Now, that was 10 years ago, so if you use inflation at 18.33% since then, we are looking at around $88,747.50. And that 50 cents, I'm pretty sure, means a whole lot. But but they say that once you hit that threshold, you are no more happier than you were before.
Mhm.
How you feel about that, Cora?
I mean, me myself personally, I come from I want to say a different realm of logic with this thing. I think this whole question is relative. At the end of the day, everybody got different prerogatives in this world. So what we mean by relativity, um, Earth is the third planet from the sun, but it's also the second planet from Mercury. The next planet is to Venus. So money is relative to what you think it might be. What do you hold of value in your life, and what do you want? If you hold value in precious jewels and paper with dead people on it, yeah, I mean that's something valuable. But at the end of the day, like the guy said before this thing, if I were to ask you, money is not really even top five in your prerogative. If I told you right now I give you $1 million, but you got to die tomorrow, you gonna say, you know what? Forget that $1 million. I told you I give you $1 million, but you got to be sick for the rest of your life. You gonna say, you know what? Give me and I don't want the money. But if I told you I give you $1 million, but your child got to die, you gonna say, you know what? I don't want that $1 million. So it's not that valuable. It depends on what you find happiness is. I myself, I had plenty of money. I had a little money, but it wasn't until I found something bigger than me that fulfilled purpose in my life. The biggest thing in your life, I would say, is purpose. But money, how much money is enough money to survive? I know people that are happy in different countries with nothing that are happy. So I can't say that it takes hundreds of thousands of dollars for a person to have happiness. I think it takes relationships. I think relationships more than anything creates happiness. But I do not believe money is a necessity to happiness. I don't think money equals happiness. Not in the least bit. No.
Okay. Well, this is how I feel about it. I feel like the lack of money will make you miserable.
Mm.
I'm not saying that money is going to make you happy. I'm pretty sure that right now, John Morant is not happy right now. And
Hmm.
he got a whole lot of money.
Hmm.
But also, I will say the lack of, if you got none of it, it's
Hmm.
a good way to be miserable.
I
It's a
don't know.
good.
You don't think you could? Do you think like people? everybody living in poverty right now is not happy. That has
No.
nothing. Let's say you can find a homeless man on the side of the street that might be happy. He
Okay.
might find his happiness in something different. That's what I'm saying. But we can't devalue his happiness because we wouldn't be happy being in that state that he's in.
I
You get
think
what I'm saying?
I get what you're
I
saying,
think
but
it's relative. I think it's
I,
relative.
I think what we're talking about is you got to have your needs met. Like your basic life needs have to be met. Like if you're questioning where your next meal is or where your shelter is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
or if you don't feel safe, if
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have good health,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in pain, like I mean that's I don't know how relative that is. I
So the
think that we
question
have
is, can
basic
money
human
buy
needs.
these things? Can money buy these things?
Basic human needs. Yeah, man, you got the comment section on.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's raging right now. Yeah,
hmm,
booming.
you say it's booming.
Yeah.
Oh, it ain't booming on my side. All right. Well, I mean, I guess the question is, Corey, if hmm, no, yeah, money buys those things. Money buys some of those things.
Some of
Absolutely.
those things, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Certainly.
like food, um, yeah, a safe dwelling to live in, shelter, clean water,
Mm,
clean place to sleep. Money buys those
mm.
things. And you got to get the comments because I can't. The comments aren't coming through on my side, so be sure you get the comments.
Yeah. I do like money helps with happiness. Matt Beer said money helps with happiness. We getting consistent the same thing. Peace brings happiness. Tiff said peace brings happiness. The more I make, the less peace I have. I would agree. I think that right there is the more money you make, the more responsibility you have, and the more time is consumed. And the more time is consumed, you don't have that time to spend with things that you truly want to do. I think overall, if we have kids, happiness is spending time with our kids. Every adult, every parent in this, if you are of that nature, your happiness comes from spending time with your kids. But oftentimes we have to put priorities in order and we have to sacrifice that time with our kids to provide for our kids. So yeah, can money relieve that and bring us more time with our kids? Yes, certainly. It's certain things that money can happen. But ask the question, who has lost their lottery winners? Yeah, well, the question is, most people that win the lottery are miserable. Most people that win the lottery either broke or die early. But I think that mostly plays to the fact that they don't understand how to handle that amount of money. That's
Well,
too much money. Can you
well,
have too much money? Is the question.
that's not the problem.
Mm.
That's not the problem at all. The problem is expectations,
Mm.
right? So like expectations are the enemy of joy, in my opinion. Like
Mm.
if you can't find contentment in certain things, then that's what the problem is. Like I'm pretty sure all of us can remember that feeling when we got our first vehicle.
Mm.
Whether you were a teenager or whether it took you a little longer, you was an adult. When you got that first vehicle, it felt amazing. Didn't matter. Didn't matter whether it was good. Mine was a Dodge Shadow. Loved it. Loved it. Um, but as you get older, you see, okay, well, you start to sit in another vehicle. Oh, this vehicle's nice.
Mm.
I think I would like to get this, and and that there's always going to be something better than what you got. It's always going to be something better than what you got, and I believe that's the reason why when you hit a certain threshold, the happiness goes out the window because you then get on that treadmill, that pursuit for the next best thing.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's what I think. I think that's what it is, man. What do you think?
I mean, I told you, like, it's to me, I'm still stuck on this relative thing. I would like the people to find something above money that's bigger than money. And I'm gonna tell it from this point of view. What I learned through my life, what brings me happiness is my spirituality. My spirituality. Most people know this scripture, Philippians 4:13. I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you watch the John Jones fight that just passed, he got it tatted on the right side of his chest. Steph Curry puts it on the bottom of his shoe. It's a very, very known scripture, verse 13. But verse 12 is the most important part of that scripture, and it's often forgotten. But when Paul says, I know how to live on almost nothing or with everything, I have learned the secret of living in every situation, whether it's with a full stomach or empty, with plenty or little. He's saying at the end of the day, most people think that that scripture is a conquering scripture. It's saying, no matter what, I have faith in God, and that will surpass all things. Because at the end of the day, I know this to be true because it's been told to me so often. I know it to be true because I have never seen a Brinks truck pull up to a graveyard. If you putting your happiness in that money at your end days, you're gonna have regret. That is not where happiness comes from. Happiness comes with the people around you, your loved ones, and your relationships. At the end of the day, I could sacrifice money. I could find more happiness with spending time with friends than and going to work and making the most money in the world. Because I was working hours. I used to work 75 to 8 hours a week. I'm not joking, not kidding you. Was I happy? No. I needed a change in my life. I saw my family going out to going to places. I was providing for them, but I wasn't happy. So I know this for a fact that money in no way brings happiness because you don't want to tie your happiness to money. Because at the end of the day, tough times come. And what are you going to do? You're gonna fold up and be mad and be miserable? Nah, you need to put your happiness in something else. My joy comes from the people around me, the loved ones, not only just family, but friends. Put yourself in good places with good people.
Okay. So how do you feel about that number that they put out?
Uh
88,000.
88,000. I certainly can't say that because I know people that's happy that don't make 88,000. I know people that
No,
never
I
even
think you
live with
misinterpreted what it said.
88,000. Okay.
They're saying that once you hit that number, no amount of it makes you any happier than
Oh,
you
I
were
definitely
before.
agree with that. I told you, the more money you get, that Tip put it up here, more money, more problems. The consistent thing, the more things that you buy, you just start buying more expensive things. So when you start hitting 88,000, you'll start getting a bigger house, a bigger car, and the payments. And at the end of the day, your payments start paying everything. I often have to deal with this being a contractor. I work with other people that are employees of the company, and they look at how much money I make and say, "Man, if I made that, I'd be good." Nah, I tell them all the time, nah, when you get to that, you're just gonna get more things and you're gonna spend your money on that. At the end of the day, people spend that money on a lot of things, and you just gonna at the end of the day, you gonna do the same thing, have the same habits. If you're out here gambling, you're gonna just gamble more. If you're out here drinking, you're gonna drink more. You just gonna do it at a higher level, but you're gonna still spend. You're gonna find a way to spend that money if that's what you're tied to. Yeah, I do. That's I agree with that wholeheartedly.
All right. So, I mean, I sell luxury homes, right? Now, these luxury homes that I sell, um, they have what they call a base price.
Hmm.
This is if you build a house the way that we advertise it, it'll be at a certain price. And let's just throw a number on it. Let's just throw a number like 600, right? So you throw 600 on it, and sometimes families will come in there and they'll see the sales model that I work out of, and they'll say, "Well, does that gourmet kitchen come included?" And I'll tell them, "No, it doesn't come included." And they ask me, "Does that bathroom come included?" And I'll say, "No, that's a luxury option upgrade." And to the point where they're no longer satisfied with the fact that they're leaving their townhome and they're going to get a brand new house. But in their mind, they're thinking because it doesn't have all the options that are in the sales model, this
Mm,
isn't going to be a beautiful home.
mm.
It's about, like I said, it's about contentment. It's about contentment. Let's get to the next question, Corey. What's the next question?
The next question is, how much is enough to live?
Mm, man, that's a comment question, Corey. What do
Yeah.
people say? I want to hear what the comments say. So let's throw a number on this thing. How much is enough to live? What
How
is
much is enough to live? Let's start off with this comment because it ties into the last one. Ryan said 50 Cent used to get you two bags of chip. Ty Hampton said 50 Cent used to get me five bags of chip. So
Okay.
the price of chips went up. So yeah, I mean,
Pops.
50 cent ain't gonna get you a bag of nothing. Bag of air.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ask yourself in the comments, and I play off that right now until the comments get up to speed. How much is enough money to live? And depends on how
I
you
want to hear
living.
what people say.
Thank
I
you,
want to
George.
hear.
George said exactly what I was thinking. Depends on how you living.
Boy, that's a cop out, George. I'm looking for a number. I want people to give me numbers in here. I don't see what we thinking. What we talking about? Somebody throw a number out there. Be bold. Be audacious. I want to
How
hear a
much
number.
money? I ain't gonna get my number.
What's it? I mean, what do you think? What's the number?
How much money for me to live at the current living state that I live at?
How much? What's the number that you think that's important to live? What's the number?
With my lifestyle, I need no less than probably 150,000.
Okay.
I mean, collectively between me and my wife, I need no less than 150,000. If I drop below that, things got to change. Sacrifices got to be made.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I can tell
Tawana,
you. I can tell you.
100,000,
I can tell you. It wasn't. It wasn't.
200,000.
I'm not that far removed. I'm not that far removed from 30,000. And I got a couple guys in this room.
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple guys in this room that I work with those guys, and we were making 30 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And we just kept saying, if we make 5,000 more, we'd be
Mm-hmm.
comfortable.
We'd be good.
If I make 10,000 more,
Mm.
and they know it to be true, and put it in the comment section if we ever had a conversation about this, because I know a bunch of guys in here that I've had the conversation with, and it was 23.5. If I just made 10,000 more, if I just made this amount of more, and if you told those same people, oh, I'm sorry, man, they didn't tell you that. Yeah, that's how much I was making. I'm sorry. Yeah, but that's how we felt. We felt like, But if you ask those same guys, is if that number is okay now, they'll say probably not. We all are chasing for that extra 5 or 10K,
Mm-hmm.
and
What did
yeah,
you start off though? What's your first paying job?
me, my first paying job, I worked at Wendy's.
And how much you make? It's
I
like
was making.
five something, right? That'd be
Nah,
five something.
man. Actually, believe it or not, man, back then they were actually very competitive. Wendy's wasn't like the rest of the fast food restaurants.
Mm.
I actually, when I left there, I was making like 725.
Oh, that's a good number though.
Yeah, it was. I probably had more money back then, more disposable income,
Mm.
until recently in my life. That was I was working about 34 hours a week while I was in high school. I was about 16, and I didn't have any bills or anything. And yeah, I was doing pretty good. Yeah,
Mm.
that's a good point too.
Hey, I started off at $3.50. $3.50. I was a waiter at Pizza Hut, and waiters don't have to get paid minimum wage and things of that nature. So you get paid off your tips. But the problem was I used to get bullied. So when I came in, people used to take my tables. I really didn't get no tables. I had to get into the cycle until I got inside the camaraderie until they let me get tables. If anybody been a waiter, they knew what I'm talking about right here. You can't just go out there and get tables. You kind of got to just work your way in. So yeah, I started off making 350 and I was 16 years old. My whole goal was to get me some Air Forces and a 3 for 10 at that time. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Whole goals in life. But yeah, I mean, I was happy. Yeah. That 350 made me happy.
Mm.
But yeah, hey, I wanna play this episode, this little clip, small clip right quick and let me know what you think, yo. Cause it's one that I was gonna use for the intro. And it kind of ties into what Tiff said right here. So I'm gonna play it right quick.
Conversation with a friend one day, and we was talking about family and life, and I asked him, how do you see your kid's future? And he said to me, my grandfather walked 10 miles to work every day. My father walked 5. I'm driving a Cadillac. My son is in a Mercedes. Said my grandson will be in a Ferrari. But he said my great-grandson will be walking again. So I asked him, I said, well, why is that? And he said to me, tough times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Weak men create tough times. He said to me, many will not understand, but you have to raise warriors. That's what Coach instilled in me, and so many like me. The strength and courage of a warrior.
That's tough, man.
Yeah, we think about that. So, you know what I'm saying? I think oftentimes the more money we make, often we make it times easier on our kids. Like my daughter won't know the struggles I had to endure, nor do I know the struggles my father had to endure. My father oftentimes tell me about stories that I was like, good God, you had to do all that chopping trees in the dead of night to stack up on the side of the house. And you know what I'm saying? My father lost his father at 12 years old. These is often struggles that, you know what I'm saying, that we might not have to deal with. Do you think struggles create stronger men? That you have to beat through something to do something?
That's a Christ. I mean, that's a cross I'm gonna bear, though. But yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah. I think that's absolutely true. But it's a cross I'm willing to bear.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, because I mean, consider the alternative. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, I feel like I would rather
Mm, mm.
I'd
I
rather
think you
teach
still
through it.
have to.
I'd rather coach through it, man.
You still got to give your kids responsibility
Yeah,
at the end of the day. So do I give my child everything? No. But does she get a lot? Yes. I remember going in the store and I didn't want to ask my dad for nothing. It's just not going to happen. But so I mean, yeah, I agree. It's a delicate balance. It's a delicate balance. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah.
All right, so where we at next?
The next question is, what is a good salary? What's a good salary?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is my thought process. Some people may not agree to it, but when I think of inflation, I just had this thought when I thought about we talked about those bag of potato chips, right?
Hmm.
Now, essentially, in order to make money, you have to give an offering of time, right? Is that a fair assessment? You think so?
Yeah, that's a great word too.
You have to give an offering of time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And with inflation and you seeing how things cost more, like Pops was saying, like he could get 5 bags. He could get for 50 cents. He could get 5 bags, which means that his time back then is more valuable than they put the value on our time now.
Hmm.
Like if you have to go to work, you know what I'm saying. If the time is like that, then they don't value your life as an essence to say that, and that's why I am a big. You want to get me upset? Talk about minimum wage to me, and that gets me upset because at the end of the day, you're talking about a human being's life, and essentially, minimum wage defined is if I could pay you less, I would, but I'm not legally allowed to. So,
Hmm.
so that's my take on it. So when you say how much is a fair salary or how much is enough, man, I don't know. It's the comment section. We didn't get no numbers out there. What were the numbers that we got for that, Corey?
What do you mean?
Nobody put numbers out there. What they thought a fair salary was. What was
Oh
the
yeah,
numbers?
I put them up there. You ain't see 'em?
Hmm. What's the low number? The low number and what was the high
This was
number?
the
Just give me the low number and the
Tawana
high
said
number.
100. So the least number was LT 40,000 at least.
Okay. And what's the high
And
number?
I like this one. You need two incomes nowadays. I do like that one. But the highest number was Ryan saying 200,000, 200
Shit.
grand.
Sheesh. All right. What's next up?
What's next up?
We getting into creating the budget.
Well, we did say what is a good salary. And I touch on that. I do got something to add. Like I said, I mean, most of it is like I said, what is a good salary? Is how much time do you? Yeah, basically what you said. I'm not gonna dive into it. It'd be just copying exactly what you said. That was good and that was eloquently put. I'm gonna let it stay right there. Yeah, like what Hamp said. Most of the times, how much you willing to trade your time for? What do you think is a equal a good trade off for your time? You losing time with your kids and your family and all the things that you wish to do in life. What's a good amount of money you can make for that? And what's a good amount of time you're gonna sacrifice for that? And what's that saying again? 'Cause I want to write that down. What you say?
About which one? About minimum wage?
That you said. No, it's a saying that you said before. I get it to you after. It was a great saying. If y'all remember in the chat, man, post that thing. Amp said some drop the bean in there, man. That was a good one. I have to start using that. You sometimes get it like that. Sometimes.
Okay. All right. Where we at next? Cool. I ain't about to do this with you.
All right, creating a budget. Okay.
Hey, tap your mic.
Me?
All
Oh,
right. All right. So, creating a budget, right? We talked before about this is the uncomfortable part of the podcast. So if you're about to be uncomfortable, just don't get in the comment section. But when it comes to creating a budget, you gotta have a look in the mirror. Like a lot of times we don't wanna look at budgets because they scare us. We have to deal with, man, I'm blowing my money on this, I'm blowing that. Because a lot of times we sit there and we say, man, this job don't pay enough. And sometimes it's true. A lot of times it is true. However, man, what the next man is gonna pay you sometimes out of your control. But what is in control is your budget. And what are you doing with the money that's coming in? So we're gonna kind of get into that briefly, but it's trying to be as in depth as we can with this. All right, so the very first thing you need to do, and this is not gonna be in this topic because we're gonna talk about credit soon. Everybody in here needs to know their credit score. Everybody needs to know, but we ain't gonna talk about credit this episode. We're gonna talk about that in a future episode. But the first thing you need to do is step one. You need to calculate your net income. Now, your net income is not what the job said they were going to pay you. We're not going to talk about that. You're going to talk about by the time you take that insurance out, by the time the taxes come out. We talking about the
you
amount of
want the
money.
net. You want
I
the
want,
yeah. You
yeah, I
said the
want the
net, not
net.
the gross.
Yeah, I
Not the
want the
gross.
net income. I want the number that is hitting your account, hitting that ATM every 2 weeks or however you get paid, whether it's monthly or however it's paid. You need to figure that number out. That's the very first thing you need to do. You need to figure that number out. You need to write it down. You need to know that number. It ain't for you to share with anybody, but you need to know it.
Mm.
All right. Here goes the second uncomfortable thing you need to do. Track your spending. Now, if you're using your ATM card, it'll tell you exactly what your transactions are. Now you can do it the old school way, depending on which bank you use. Sometimes they'll break it down into categories. I know Bank of America does it. It depends on which bank you
Yeah,
have.
They do it.
They'll break it down and tell you if you're spending this amount of money on fast food. They'll tell you what you're spending your money on. If your bank doesn't offer that, most of the time they do. If you got online banking, they'll do it. But if your bank does not offer that, then what you need to do is get one of those apps on your phone.
Mm.
There's plenty of them, and break down what they are.
A good one is Mint.
Yeah, Mint does that.
Mint is a great tool to use because it's also I don't know if y'all into like buying stocks and stuff like that or investments and stuff like that, your 401ks. It'll also bring those in and you can look at that stuff too, and you can work out all that. You can add in so much with Mint. I don't know how much the other ones offer, but I know Mint is a good one that me and my family use.
Okay. Now, while we in there, we tracking and we breaking in things. This is what we're looking for. What are your fixed expenses? And what I mean by fixed expenses, we're talking about these are your regular monthly bills. This is the important stuff. Your rent or your mortgage, and hopefully we get everybody to the mortgage part, but your rent or your mortgage, utilities, your car payments, things that you have to pay each month. And Corey's gonna tell me in your tithes, right?
I like what Tawana put that. Taz first.
Okay,
God does a little bit more than the government. He gives the money to you and expect to give it back. The government take it out first. Government say, yeah, I don't trust you with that money. I'm gonna take mine out. God does trust you with it. He said, bring it on later.
Okay, all right. So if you're gonna give me tithes, another conversation for another day for that one. All right, the next after you get those fixed expenses, right? Now on a second side, I want you to draw a line over there, and these are your variable expenses that you got over here. These are things that's gonna change month to month. I'm not gonna say they're not important, but they change month to month. Those are like your groceries, your gas, your entertainment, like your Netflix, your Spotify, those types of things there. All right, and your credit card payments, those types of things, right? So you got two sections. So we good there, right, Corey?
Yeah.
So
I think the third thing should be you get rid of that second side.
Come
you
on,
don't
man.
need it. You don't need that side.
Nah, I mean, okay.
That's probably what's making you that's eating you up. That second side, the entertainment, all that stuff. You get rid of that side, you be comfortable.
Okay, so that brings us to step 3. All right, so we didn't got the first two things. Like first thing we looked ourselves in the mirror, and we said that we're gonna check our numbers, right? And we got those down. Now we have on our debit side, we got those two things. And the third thing is it's time to set realistic goals. Realistic goals. What's the difference between a realistic goal and an unrealistic goal, Corey? When it comes to
all right, so a realistic goal is a goal that you really can make. The unrealistic goal is saying that I want to do something. You can have it. I think all goals are goals because all right, let's say an unrealistic goal is a goal that if I don't meet it, I'm okay with it. Everybody should set standards high above that jump because I set a standard one day. I'm gonna say it. All right. So I set a goal one day to make $100,000 a year. And I didn't think I was gonna reach that goal for like years and years off. I just put it there, but eventually I got there.
Okay, like here goes an unrealistic goal. If you're saying I'm gonna cut my costs down by lowering my grocery bills to $30 per month. Like that's not realistic. Like you're not gonna do it. Like that's not gonna happen. But if you're saying that I'm not going to buy alcohol this month, or I'm not going to do this, you might be able to do that. All right. So you're going to set realistic goals on things that you might be able to cut out. But what I really want you guys to do is I really want you to think about short-term goals and long-term goals.
Yeah.
All right. Short-term goals, I want you to think these are your 1 to 3 year goals. Your long-term goals, they can be all the way up to retirement. All right. So we got these short-term goals. Now, again, this exercise that we're doing isn't about me. It's not about Corey. This is totally about yourself, right? This is something for you while you're laying in bed tonight, about to go to sleep. I want you to think about this. Your short-term goals are your short-term goals. These are the things that you want to accomplish. It's not what you're going to see on social media. It's not what's going to be on Instagram. It's not watching people's highlight reels in your real life. This is about realistic short-term goals for yourself. If I'm gonna go ahead and use somebody like Logan. He told me what his short-term goal was, and it was to buy a house. And if anybody in here want to know something, man, talk to that guy. He'll tell you all the things that you have to go through in order to put yourself in that situation. And it's not easy, but it was a short-term goal for him. And he went through and he looked himself in the mirror, figured out what he needed to do, and he did those things. Those are your short-term goals. Long-term goals. I use the term all the time. I say buying your freedom because Corey doesn't believe this, but I do believe that one day in the future, they will look back at this time that we're living in and say, those idiots didn't even realize they were still slaves. That's what's going to happen in the future. They're going to look back at this period of time and realize that we were all paid slaves. Like, that's what it was. And they gave us little trinkets and we went to work for 40 hours for 1/3 of our lives, and they threatened to fire us when we didn't do the right thing, and they will laugh at us and say, such silly human beings we were back then. But I do believe in buying your freedom. And the way that you buy your freedom is being to a point where you can say, I no longer will go to work. I no longer will go to work and I will live off the money that I have. That is true freedom. All right, so those are your long term goals. Remember, they don't have to be set in stone, but it's important to identify them, write them down, and allow them to motivate you to stick to your budget. Step 4. We ready for step 4, Corey?
Mm-hmm.
Let's make a plan. This is where everything come together. We took the 3 things that was above it, and we make a plan. We're gonna talk about what you're actually spending versus what you want to spend. It's a very difficult conversation you gotta have yourself. Like, it doesn't matter if you're making $10,000 a month coming in, and at the end of the month you're spending 11.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you got to be real with yourself.
Yeah, the
You gotta-
deficit.
Yeah, you got to look at it and say, I did all of this, but I didn't put money away for that, or this wasn't what my real goal was, or I ate this amount of money in takeout. I drank this amount of money in alcohol. I smoked this amount of money in cigarettes. Like, you really have to. I mean, when you really stop and look at it and be realistic, after you look at your plan, you'll say, okay, what am I doing here? Now, there is what they call the 50-30-20 rule. Have you ever heard of that, Corey?
50, 30, 20 rule. No, what is it? Say it.
All right. They use it in real estate a lot. All right. So if you go to buy a house, they use terms like debt to income ratio.
Mm.
Like, I'm pretty sure that you've heard that term before.
I think I have. I'm just trying to coin it right now. I'm trying
All
to
right,
get.
so your debt to income ratio. So what they want to know is how much money you got coming in, and what percentage of that new house that you want to buy is going to come out of that. No bank wants to give you more than 50% of your income towards that mortgage.
Oh yeah.
None of them want to do that. And the reason why they don't want to do it, because you become more likely to default on your bills if half of your income is required to pay for your shelter. That ratio that they do want you is around 40%. They want you in the 30 to 40%. And they want that to cover, they will allow you to go up to 50% to cover your rent or your mortgage, your car payment, your utilities, and groceries. They're saying that amount of money should be half of your income. If that number is exceeding that, you need to reevaluate, because you got 2 options when it's exceeding that. You can choose to live less, or you can choose to earn more. So when we talked about how much money is enough, there's only 2 options.
Mm.
You can spend less or earn more. We still tracking?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, your next 30%, because we talked about 50-30-20, that's your excess. They're saying that you can take 30% of it, and for lack of better terms, that's the money you can trick off. So that's your money that you spend on your streaming services. That's on shopping. That's on vacation. That's on me and Corey kicking it on the weekend. That's on buying birthday gifts. That's on, doing little things like, we did this weekend, and that was an awesome weekend. I thank everybody for rocking with us this weekend for my son and my niece's birthday. It was a great time. It was awesome. But again, these are things that go into that 30%. These are the things. This is the money that you just kind of. If something got to get cut, you get cut out of that 30%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the last 20%, that's your emergency fund. That's your retirement. That's your child's education. That's your credit card payments. That's the 50-30-20 rule.
So the child's education goes into the what? 30%?
The 20%.
20%.
That's the emergency fund.
What about daycare? That's
I count
20% too?
That's in the 20%. Yep.
Can you afford not to pay daycare though? Because I'm looking at 20% as something that you can not do. You can live without. Right?
No, that's not what 20% is. That 30% is the 30% is what you can live without.
The 30% is what you can live without.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
The 20% is
That 30% is the happiness. That's the money that you're
no.
spending on happiness.
So that's where the entertainment was at. I thought
Yeah,
the
the thirty
entertainment was
percent.
at 20.
Yeah,
Okay.
so so your child's at daycare, like that goes into 20% with your credit card payments, retirement, emergency fund. That 20%.
Mm, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now, if that 20% has to grow, where does it grow to? Into the entertainment fund.
Mm.
Yeah. So if anything, because that 50% is a set cost,
Ain't nothing you can do about it.
ain't nothing you can do about that.
Only thing you can do is
Yeah.
live smaller.
Yeah. Now,
You can-
but here goes the thing, right? There's nothing saying that you have to spend all the way up to that 50%.
Mm.
Because if you got some excess, if you have some excess in there, you throw that in the savings.
Mm.
Like that's how you do it. And that gives you the money to if you want more, you can get more later. If you want that nicer vehicle, if you want that nicer house, you can do that. One of the first things I did when I bought my house was make sure it was less than my my comp and pension from the VA. I definitely understand that, kid. I definitely understand that. All right, now step 5. Boom, step 5. We have to adjust our spending to stay on that budget.
I'm
Now,
a habitual line stepper. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a habitual line stepper.
okay.
I step across my line month after month.
Mm-hmm.
Month after month, man. The hardest thing is sticking to the budget. You can create the budget, but oftentimes sticking to the budget is the hardest thing. Because when you got excess money, you always, all right, I'm gonna do this week. I'm gonna do this week. I'm gonna do this week.
Yeah, but we use that competitive mentality in so many different things,
Mhm.
except for like when it comes to our personal finances. It's taboo for people like you and I to look like this to have this
Mhm.
conversation about money. All right, but
Mhm.
let's be real, because if we looked at our time, like I said before, when you laying on your deathbed,
Mhm.
there is no amount of money that you will not be willing to pay to get a little bit more time.
Mhm.
That time that you right here that you're leveraging right now. So if you can find a way to consume less, stop buying stuff, that extra time, that's time that you can get back at the back end. So
Mhm.
when we talk about being competitive with our with our cuts, let's stop and talk about it. I seen people do it all the time. If you let's look at a number, right? If you're one of those people that say, man, I just wish that job would give me $5,000 extra dollars a month, right? Let's think about this. If you pay for cable, and depending on where you live at, cable is almost $300 now. $300. If you cut cable out of your life by 1 year, that's $3,600 that you just was able to give yourself a raise. If you cut Netflix out, like let's stop all the things that we cut out.
Whoa, brother.
I'm just saying.
Whoa.
If that extra 5,000, you ain't always got to go to the job to get that 5,000.
Netflix is a must-have these days, brother.
Hey,
I don't
listen,
think
you might not have to go to the job to get that 5,000. That 5,000 might already be in your budget. Or you say, you know what? Instead of doing date night and doing this, we can do date night at the house. We can cook Ruth's Chris at the house. We can do this. I mean, these are certain things about setting that budget. Man, so many people, even with their insurance. When the last time you checked on your insurance, make sure they were keeping it 100 with you?
You asked me that question.
I'm
The
asking that.
answer come out of the wife.
See, that was it. We don't
That
even
come out
check
of the
that.
wife.
We don't even. We
I
get
don't
to the
check that at all.
point. But look, just stop and think about it. We don't even check to make sure they're giving us the most competitive rates anymore.
Oh,
Like
so
we
we
ain't
gotta
shopping.
call them on it.
Call them on and see. Shop around. Like we don't do stuff like that with our phone bills. We don't check to see if we can get a better deal with that.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do, man. This weekend, right? I'm gonna look at everything that I pour that money out to, and I'm gonna check them on to see and I'm gonna see how much money I can save, right?
All right, man.
Cause I ain't gonna lie, this is
I'm just
probably
saying.
the
this a
dumbest thing I
competitive-
do today is I got DirecTV just for Sunday Ticket. Sunday Ticket been off for a while, right? I do not watch direct TV. I watch Netflix.
Look at that.
I haven't. I went
Won't he
probably
do it?
about 3-4 months of Netflix gets crazy. Sometimes I cancel. Yeah, I probably ain't watched direct TV in 2 or 3 months.
I mean, and that's what this episode
Not
is
since
about, man.
football season.
Look,
And that's $200 a month. So that's
that's what I'm saying.
$600 I burn and ain't turned it on.
That's what I'm saying. Car insurance, all types of stuff that we don't even check anymore. We just didn't got to the point where, again, we have been made into weak men. You know, you have to go and do that. Like you have to go and check and make adjustments. All right. The next thing, review your budget regularly. All right. So we're in step 6. Now, what you just went through, we went through this whole process, and then at the end of the month, you got to do that talk again. You got to start it over again. Look yourself in the face. Look in the mirror and say, "Am I staying on the budget, doing what I wanted to do?" You got to do it. You got to do it. So what you got, Cora?
Man, right now I'm canceling this direct TV jump, man. I'm trying to log in. But yeah.
Man,
All right, so we yeah, I agree. I'm definitely hold me accountable, man. I'm dead serious. By the end of this week, I want to cancel because my thing is I told you a lot of time. When I get off work, I don't want to call no direct TV, do all that stuff and do that stuff, and I just pay it and don't even need it. But I need to stop wasting my money. I tell you the truth. When you making a little money, I could save a lot more money if I just cut a lot of things out that I don't use. And there's several things I don't use. There's several things. That entertainment thing, yeah, I got a lot of entertainment that I do not use. And then the hard thing about it is, you know, it's in there going into the budget, and I go over. On the entertainment side, I probably go over more than anything. And another question I want to ask y'all: is it cheaper to eat out and make groceries? When I make groceries, them grocery bills can get extremely high these days, man.
well,
Cause we've been eating in. I'm like, man, I think I spent more money in grocery than I was than, you know what I'm saying, just ordering McDonald's.
oh, okay. See, it depends on whether because I don't think McDonald's is food, but
All right.
that's yeah. I'm not even sure if it's real like nutritional. I don't. I'm not even sure if it's real food. But if you're talking about real food, like well, when me and the fam go out to eat, it might be $80 every time we sit down somewhere.
Oh yeah. Nah. We ain't doing that. I'm talking about chicken from Feather and Fins. $22.
Mm.
So you $22 for a chicken 8 piece from Feather and Fins. That's DoorDash to get it sent to my house, right? To buy a whole chicken, 8 piece, right? Right now, it's like what a chicken is like what $10, $11, right? So if you want to season, the easy way to do it for me is to put it in a pressure cooker. So then I got to get the onion mix. That's gonna go up to about $2, and then I got to get the broth, and that's gonna send it up to. At the end of the day, we bought at $18. So if $4 is the difference, right? And
Yeah,
me
but
cooking it and them bringing it in that minute, I'm like, yo, I pay the $4.
okay. Now the better question is, are you gonna eat fried chicken every day, sir?
No, it's a lot of. I mean, fish. We could look at it from fish standpoint, right?
Man, listen, all these fried foods, yeah. If you're looking for bad food, yeah, yeah, sure. We can eat chicken nuggets and grape soda, and we can save a lot of money. But I don't think
Why,
that's the.
why I got to be grape soda, man?
I'm just saying. I don't think that's the way to have you
I,
living long enough to enjoy the money that you're saving, sir. I don't think that's the way to do it.
do I shop weekly or do I shop weekly? Weekly. I don't do it per month. I do weekly. Weekly is just it's hard for me to balance it out like that. So what we do is it's easier for Wednesdays and Thursday is eat out days because I if you know me, I oftentimes I'm at the church on Wednesday. So if I'm at the church, it's hard for us to cook and then go to church and then get back home at 9 or however it is. It's no way for me to work it out like that. So we have to eat out on Wednesday. And typically, if Hamp knows that when we used to have a show on Wednesday, I'm often calling because I got to get my niece and nephew food before I drop them off. 'Cause I don't want to drop the kids off without food. So Wednesday is eat out day. Thursday is haircut day. And oftentimes, wife is ripping and running is we not at the house long enough to cook on those days. So Wednesday and Thursdays are eat out days. It's just there's no way around it. We have to.
Hmm. Hey, again, this isn't about. I told you. I said this is about each individual man, and when I mean man, that could be woman of Much About Nothing podcast or Much
Mhm.
About This is for any woman or man uh, to individually look yourself and talk about your budget. Like this isn't this. This is yeah. This is individual. This is
I'm learning
individual.
from what Tiffany's saying right here. Hey man, hey, I ain't all the way there, man. Y'all definitely give me. I do take opinions and advice, and I like what you saying right there. Shopping boat. I tell you what, like I told him, I always try new things. I go to what it's called
Sam's Club.
Sam's Club, but
Yeah,
then you gotta that's a subscription, right? So
yeah.
you gonna let me get your Sam's Club card, Mr. Ham? You gonna ride down there with me
Hey
so
man, it's
I
all
can
good,
tag
man.
along?
Yeah, you absolutely, man.
I ain't
Yeah.
gotta. Oh, I gotta add that into my expense too.
Hey, hey, we Sam's Club. We that's our gang right there, man. Sam's Club.
All right, bang boat.
KK. Yeah,
All
we
right.
Sam's Club. What else? I think we covered it all. Let's hit the comment section. Anything left in the comment section?
Yeah, we getting y'all getting them last comments here. We want to read y'all comments. Wednesdays and Thursdays can be crock pot meal day. Put it in the morning and forget it. Thank you, Aaron Donald. That is true. We can put it in the crock pot. All right. That's a healing for me. Thank you. Thank you for that advice, and I will use it. And, hey, y'all call me on that. If I ain't did it by next week, the next Monday episode, ask me, Core, did you do them crock pots on Wednesdays and Thursdays? Hey, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna lie. All right. Love crock pot meals. Good idea. Yes, yes, yes. Them hungry pains too. I can't do that. Oh, hunger pains. I thought you were saying like the Hungry Man jumps that you put in the microwave. I can't do that. That's not me. Costco's and Sam's Clubs membership with cash back.
Mm.
All right, all right, all right. Two pains you'll face in life: the pain of discipline, the pain of regret. You get to pick. Mm, hitting it where it hurt right there. Right, 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 right. That's good. That's good, man. So yeah, that's basically the bulk of them. Except
Man.
Tiff said that is not food. She'll agree with the feather and fins. That is not food. You are true. You are true. You are telling the truth. I'm being honest with y'all here, y'all. But yeah.
Hey man, another fun episode, man. Let's close this bad boy out, man.
All right. All right. I'm gonna close this out with an often saying that I said. Yesterday's history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why they call it present. Live your life with your family, love them, man, and celebrate every day like it's your last day, man. But not your budget. Save. How old to you, Hal?
All right. Well, again, I want to thank you guys for rocking with us. I hate I can't see the comments. These
I
comments
don't know why
sometimes.
you can't.
I don't know, man. But these comments are usually the best part of. Well, I ain't gonna say the best part.
I
It's one of
think
the
we
best
got a
parts of the
hundred.
show.
I can't tell unless
Okay.
y'all usually can tell me.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for rocking with us. Um. I am going to tell you, I have a few things personally that I have in the works. Once I get everything together, I'm gonna put out there. There's some stuff I want to give back in regards to real estate. So I'm going to be giving some courses and stuff. And of course, if you're rocking with the Man Podcast before it starts, I'm looking out for you when it comes to the cost. Um, so thank you for rocking with us. But the most important thing that I'm gonna say is love yours because it's yours. And if you don't love it, who else gonna do it? We out.
Hmm.